Hey friends, today we are going to talk about that moment after breast care diagnosis where you find yourself wondering, will I ever see my children grow up? And that fear can feel overwhelming. And it slips into ordinary moments. It's when you're folding clothes, it's when you're watching your kids play, or you're just lying awake at night thinking about tomorrow. In today's episode, we'll talk honestly about the fear and 3 gentle things that can help you stay grounded when your mind keeps going down into the unknown. Because right now, you do not need to carry tomorrow all at once. You just need somewhere safe to place that fear. So come sit with me. Are you scared of leaving your children behind after a breast cancer diagnosis? Are you carrying fear, exhaustion, and that mom guilt while still pushing through every day? If you're tired of holding all of that and want simple ways to support your children and feel held in your journey and move through each day with a little more strength, you're in the right place. Hey, I'm Priska. I'm a mom of 2, a woman of faith, and a breast cancer survivor. As a mom, I tried to carry it all alone, but I was never meant to. So I created this space for us. Come sit with me. You don't have to do this alone. So go grab your cup of tea. Yes, that cold cup of tea. I know you've heated it thrice already. And let's get started. Hey friend, before we get started today, I just want to say I'm really proud of you for showing up for yourself today. I know life can feel really heavy sometimes, so the fact that you pressed play, it means more than you know. And if you know someone who's going through a breast cancer diagnosis who might need to hear this episode, please do share it with them. Sometimes a simple message saying, I thought of you when I heard this, can make someone feel a little less alone. And if this podcast has helped you or encouraged you in any way, please leave a written review too. I truly love hearing from you. And your reviews, they help other moms find this podcast. So let's get started. Hey friend, I don't know where you're listening from today. Maybe you're driving somewhere quietly, or you're folding your washing, or you're sitting in the car, or maybe this thought has been sitting heavily in your heart for a while now. It's that quiet aching, that terrifying thought that keeps coming up. What if I don't see my children grow? Who will look after them? And it doesn't always come out loudly. Sometimes it's quiet. You're making dinner, you're having a good time with them, and you're watching them laugh, or you're packing the school lunches, or you're even folding their tiny clothes. And suddenly that thought appears. Will I still be here next year? Will I see them finish school? And what happens to them if I'm not here? And your chest tightens and your heart races. And suddenly that fear feels so unbearable. Like it can crush your soul and your mind. And if that's where you're sitting right now, I want you to know that you're not alone in that thought. Not even for a second. Because I have sat there too. And many moms have sat there too. I remember mine so clearly. It was when I first heard the words cancer. It's everything that faded away, and my mind, number one, went to my kids. It wasn't the treatment, it was just them. And I prayed that God would let me see my children grow. And that prayer didn't just come once. It has come again and again and again. Because that's what this fear is. It doesn't disappear overnight. Even today when we talk about it, it will still appear again and again. And it comes in waves. Sometimes it's at 2 a.m. or you're just sitting there with your kids and it hits you bang. And it's a very heavy thing to carry. So today I don't want to pretend that we can completely remove that fear, because I know I can't. But what I want us to do today is to help each other on how you can hold it differently, a bit more gently, so that it doesn't consume every beautiful moment you still have right now. So the first thing we're going to do is we have to find somewhere to place that fear. Because what I realized is that thought, if you leave sitting it in your mind, it will grow and it will loop and it will spiral and it will take over everything. So I realized I needed somewhere to take it. Not to ignore it, nope. Not to suppress it, no, but to place it somewhere safe for that moment. So one mom I spoke to said that every time that fear overwhelmed her, she opened her devotional books. And it didn't fix everything. It did not magically fix everything. But it gave her heart somewhere to land and distract that fear from her mind. Another mom said she journaled. She took a journal and she wrote everything she feared. Not edited, not polished, just raw honesty. And this is what she said, that once it was on paper, it wasn't as loud in her head anymore. And then there was this mom that said there was one particular worship song that she played whenever fear crept in. And that song became her anchor. It was her way of saying, not today, not today. And for someone else, it could be your conversations with God. Those conversations, they don't have to be gentle. They don't have to be peaceful prayers. You can be messy, you can cry, you can question, or you can even pull away from God, but you have to find somewhere to take those thoughts. Because if they just sit there, they will grow heavier and heavier and heavier. For me, there was a verse that carried me so deeply during this season. It was, cast all my anxieties onto Jesus because he cares for me. And I clung to that word cast. Cast, it's like you're throwing it. You're throwing it. And I would see myself throwing it so hard. And I would cast that fear onto Jesus. And that meant I don't have it. I'm not carrying it all alone in silence. And maybe today, that fear you've been carrying quietly, maybe you need somewhere to land to. So let me ask you, think about where you can take your thoughts. Where can you cast that thought? Is it a trusted friend? Is it a journal? Is it a song? Is it through prayer? Is it going for counseling? It doesn't have to be perfect, but you need somewhere. It needs to go somewhere safe. The next thing we'll talk about is you have to hold life differently. And we're not forcing positivity here, because this is not about pretending everything is okay. It's not about toxic positivity. It's about your perspective. I remember very well when I was going through my cancer journey, there was a woman I knew. She was healthy, no diagnosis, no warning. She went to sleep one night. The following morning, or rather, she never woke up. And honestly, her story stuck with me for so long. Even now, I still remember it so much, because it made me realize something deeply uncomfortable, but strangely, it was very freeing too. Because none of us actually know the day we will die. It's not the healthy, it's not the sick. And in a very strange way, something shifted inside of me. Because yes, I was scared. Yes, I was going through treatment. I was sick. But I was still here. I was still holding my children. I could still laugh with them. I could still sit beside them. I could still create memories. Not the perfect way I'd ever imagined to make them, but there were memories. And so slowly I stopped asking, how long do I have? And I started grounding myself in, I have today. And today I am here. Today I can love them. Today I can hug them. Today I can make memories with them. And sometimes that was just what I needed for today. It wasn't easy, but it was enough. The other thing I think you have to be is to become intentional about what you allow in your mind. Because your mind, you will realize your mind is a very active machine and it will work overtime during this season. So you have to really protect what you feel it with. Think about the stories you listen to. I listened to stories of hope, stories of resilience, stories of other women who had walked through hard roads, had life circumstances, and they were still standing. Because every time I listened, something inside of me softened. Not because the fear disappeared, but because I had hope. I had room to breathe again. So be very intentional with what you allow in your mind, because your mind is what controls everything around you. So only allow what is of hope, what is of resilience, and every time you allow that, you start to breathe it, you start to imagine it. Now, number 3, you have to let go of perfect motherhood. Before cancer, you probably had routines to the T. You had dinner at a certain time. The kids have done their homework. They've got lunch boxes perfectly packed at this time. And then boom, breast cancer is here. And suddenly your capacity changes. Your energy gone. Your body changes. Everything changes. And if you try to hold on to perfection, that will completely exhaust you. It will overwhelm you. It will make you think you're not enough. One of the kindest things you can do for yourself, let go of perfect. It's not your love. It's not your presence. Just let the pressure go. Let go of that pressure of being perfect. So maybe dinner is very simple tonight. It could be serious. Fine. Maybe bedtime is not the usual time. Maybe the house is messy. Yep, that is okay. Because your children are not going to remember whether the laundry was folded perfectly or whether they ate a big gourmet meal. They will remember you. They will remember the hugs, the laughter, your presence, the moments. And one mom shared something that really moved me. She said she watched her husband step in. She watched the grandparents move in and love her children. And that gave her peace. Not because she wanted to imagine not being there, but because she realized something important. That even though she wasn't going to be there, if that moment happened that she wasn't there, her children would still be loved. And somehow that helped her breathe again, and she could focus on looking after herself because she knew her children were fine. So let go. Let others love your kids. Let them step in so that you can look after yourself. Because if you worry too much, there's nothing you're doing. Sometimes this fear can be very overwhelming. Don't carry it alone. You have to find someone to talk to. You can find a counselor, a support group, or your church, or even someone in your care team. Because sometimes speaking fears out loud, speaking them out, speaking the words out, it takes away some of their power. And I want to leave you with one final truth today. Matthew chapter 6 verse 26. It says, "Look at the birds of the air. They do not sow or reap or store away in barns, and yet your heavenly Father feeds them." So look at the birds. Even the birds, they do not know what tomorrow holds. And yet God still cares for them. So He cares for you too. Even here, even now, even in these uncertain moments, you're held, your children are held, and you do not have to carry tomorrow before it arrives. So just for today, take a breath, hold your babies close, and let today be enough for today. Because friend, there's always a seat right here for you, right next to me. And I'll see you in the next episode. I hope this episode held you in some small way today. And if it did, please share with a friend who needs to hear this, or maybe needs a soft place to land. And if you feel ready, please leave a written review for the podcast. I'd truly love to hear from you. and to know that this show is supporting you in your journey. This space, it's not just mine, it is ours. So now go take a breath, maybe reheat that tea one more time, and I'll meet you back here for the next episode. Ciao.